This is the video for section 3.6 notes, slides 30 and 31. All right, so it says if f of x equals x cubed plus 2x plus 1, then find f inverse prime of 13. So we want the derivative of f inverse at x equals 13. All right, so this is an inverse prime question. So I'm always going to draw my picture kind of the same. So I'm always going to draw something like this. All right, and so I need to call one of them f and one of them f inverse. All right, so now I want f inverse prime of 13. All right, so I'm going to pick a point here and then pick the corresponding point here. So what we want to do is we want to set it up like this. All right, and so I have blank comma blank and then blank comma blank. Now I want f inverse prime of 13. So that means the x value on f inverse is 13, which means the y value on f is 13. All right, so now I don't know the y value on f inverse, and I don't know the x value on f, okay? But I do know that f inverse prime of 13 is going to equal the reciprocal of f prime of, well, whatever that missing x value is. So that's what we need to find. All right, so I'm going to realize that I want to know x when f of x is 13. So we're going to set f of x equal to 13. So 13 is equal to x cubed plus 2x plus 1. All right, now, in a problem like this, all right, we're going to be able to solve by inspection or by guess and check. And so really what we're doing is we're trying some of the easy numbers like -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, some of those. All right, and if it's trig, then we're trying like unit circle trig values. All right, so anyway, I'm going to start with 0. 0 plus 0 plus 1, is that 13? No, 0 is not the answer. How about 1? 1 cubed plus 2 times 1, so 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. That is not 13. All right, how about 2? 2 cubed is 8, plus 2 times 2, 4 plus 1. 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13. So f of 2 is 2 cubed plus 2 times 2 plus 1. And so 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13. So that means the x value here is 2 and the y value here is 2. So now remember, we said that f inverse prime of 13 is equal to the reciprocal of f prime of 2. So now what do? Well, I need to find f prime of 2. So I start by finding f prime of x. So that would be 3x squared plus 2. And so then I find f prime of 2. So f prime of 2 is 3 times 2 squared plus 2. So 3 times 2 squared is 4. So 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14. And so that means that f inverse prime of 13 is equal to 1 over 14. So 1/14 is my answer. All right, so that's number 3. All right, number 4, basically the same problem. Okay, so we start off with this picture, all right, same picture every time, and then we pick these corresponding points. All right, so now f inverse, I'm going to call this one f inverse, I'm going to call this one f. Doesn't matter which one I call which, but okay, so now I label those points here and over here. All right, so f inverse prime of 2. So I want the slope of the tangent to f inverse at x equals 2, which means 2 is the y value on f. All right, so now I need to know the x value because f inverse prime of 2 is going to be 1 over f prime of whatever that missing x value is. So now I want to figure out when f of x is equal to 2, which means 2 is equal to the square root of x plus 1. All right, so this one, once again, you could solve this one algebraically, all right, but you could also solve it by inspection, right? So if I squared both sides, I would get 4 equals x plus 1. So then I subtract 1, so x equals 3, right? All right, now it would also work if x was -2, but that's fine. So x equals 3, so that means 3 is here, and this is 3 here. So now remember, f inverse prime of 2 is going to equal 1 over f prime of 3. And so I want to find f prime of x. So f prime of x would be 1/2 x plus 1 to the -1/2 times the derivative of x plus 1, which is just 1. All right, so then I find f prime of 3. So remember, what is this? This is really 1 over 2 times the square root of x plus 1, so 3 plus 1. All right, and so then I get 1 over 2 times square root of 4, so 2. So 1/4 would be f prime of 3, which means that f inverse prime of 2, which is 1 over f prime of 3, is 1 over 1/4, which is 4. All right. So those are a question, you'll see a few of those like on the homework, but all right, the next one is really more of the AP style question. All right. So it says a function f and its derivative take on the values as shown in the table. If g is the inverse of f, then find g prime of 3. All right. So remember, it says g is the inverse of f, right? So really that just means that g equals f inverse, right? So when I draw my picture, right, and I say, okay, here's f, and then, okay, here's g, right? If I'm labeling these points, what do I want? I want g prime of 3. So really, g prime of 3 is actually just f inverse prime of 3, right? So remember, g is f inverse. So, okay, that means 3 is the x value on f inverse, or on g, which means 3 is the y value on f. So now go down here, okay? This table says that when x is 3, f of x is -1. But that's not what I want, because I want f of x to equal 3. So that means the x value is 7. Okay, so we get 7 comma 3, which means this is 3 comma 7. But, okay, all I care about is, well, if I want g prime of 3, or f inverse prime of 3, that's going to be 1 over the reciprocal of f prime of 7, right? So what is f prime of 7? Look at the table. F prime of 7 is 5. So g prime of 3 is 1/5. All right, and so that is derivatives of inverses of functions.